the Milwaukee Road 261 to here what was then known as Cook Memorial Park. And here we are nearly 70 years later with over 80 pieces of railway equipment and our museum.
Squeaky.
Alright, we will now be going over our low bridge. I call it our low bridge because it's lower than our high bridge. But if you look into the water, you'll notice some really oddly shaped rocks. These rocks are remnants from a mill that was here in the 1800s and would have supplied lumber all throughout the upper Midwest, including Fort Howard, which you can see right across the way at Heritage Hill. Now in just a short while, we'll be ringing our bell and honking our horn 2 times.
Here comes.
Because we're coming to an uncontrolled crossing, which means there's no gate to indicate a train is coming. And trains can get really sneaky, whether you believe it or not. So you gotta be really, really loud in this area.
Well, it's supposed to be too long or short along when you go over a cross. Oh, here comes another train. What happened? That's for what's it called again? No, it's for the haunted something. Haunted like train ride or something? It's called Terror on the Fox. Oh, Terror on the Fox.
In this area, you're gonna start to notice some spooky things, including maybe a haunted house, maybe a tombstone or a cemetery. That's because this area is Terror on the Fox. How many of you have heard of Terror on the Fox before? Raise your hand. Ooh, we got a couple hands. All right, for those of you who don't know, Terror on the Fox is Wisconsin's #1 haunted house attraction, at least in my opinion it is. It runs from mid-September all the way through the end of October with Halloween. So you can come on out during those weekends and you can get scared. They also have a new exhibit this year. If you look on the inside there, they used to have a haunted house, but instead they have a pirate ship. So they have replaced it to be with a haunted pirate ship. Getting scared though is not really up to your speed. We do have more family-friendly events in October, such as the Great Pumpkin Train. Runs for 2 Saturdays in October. You can come on out, ride a train ride, pick up some pumpkins from our pumpkin patch, and do some family fun activities. Speaking of events that we've got going on, how many of you guys like the Polar Express? Raise your hand. We got lots of Polar Express lovers here. Perfect. Well, did you guys know that the tickets go on sale on July 27th for the Polar Express? That's right. At 10 a.m. on July 27th, tickets go on sale. It's incredibly competitive field to get those tickets, so make sure if you guys are interested that you do it that day at 10 a.m. And any more questions, feel free to see me after the train regarding that.
I'm gonna film the whole thing.
Alright, we're now going over our high bridge, also called our fly bridge, because we look across the house and notice that there's no railing, so it gives us this illusion that we're flying or gliding across. It's a great time for pictures, so take pictures of the Dutchman's Creek emptying out into the Fox River, but do be careful with your cameras, folks. If you do happen to drop your camera into the water, please raise your hand. I'll raise my hand back, and we'll wave goodbye to it together forever.
That's funny. You raise your hand, I'll raise my hand, and we will pull it. This is where you were recording your video. Yeah.
Yeah. Green Bay Road? Is that the one you guys heard? Green Bay Road.
Green Bay Road. Is that where we were? I I can take pictures and record at the same time. There's another Green Bay down there.
We're now coming around the back end of our museum, where you'll notice that there's quite a bit of construction going on in here. This construction is actually part of our Fox River expansion, and what's going to happen is they're going to bring this big old red wall that you see that used to have the National Railroad Museum up and forward to just about before that fence. And instead of being a big old boring red wall, it's going to be a beautiful open glass window panel. So it'll take a lot of Windex to clean, but it'll be really, really pretty, and it'll show a beautiful view of the Fox River. It's part of one of 5 of our renovations that we have here going on at the museum, and it's set to be done by next July. So hopefully by the time next tower. It's over 80 feet tall, 99 steps up to the top. Provides a beautiful view of the Fox River. And if you're into Packers, you can even see Lambeau Field in that general westward direction. It's a great excuse not to go to the gym later, but just remember it's 99 steps up, so you got to go all the way back down. Please keep hydrated also as well if you decide to go up there. It's a very hot day, so please make sure you're drinking water, bringing water bottles out there, etc., etc. Here you'll see that reddish brownish hunk of a beast out front attached to the 2402 locomotive. That is our Jordan spreader. So it would have been attached to the front of a train, much like you see it attached to the 2402. And using air and pneumatic pressure along with that big drum in the back, with push its wings we see on its side downward and forward to grade alongside the ballast. Now the ballast are the stones that you see on the tracks. Oftentimes they get full of leaves, twigs, branches, you name it, and so they have to clear it out for drainage. So this was an easy way to do that. And because we were in Wisconsin, it came in pretty handy as a snowplow for a couple months out of the year. Depot. If you haven't been inside there yet, I highly recommend checking it out. We got so much cool things in there. We've got a coal firebox that you can shovel coal into, pretend you're a fireman on a steam engine. We've got a wooden toy train set. We've got coloring sheets. We've got train books. You name it, we got it in there. It's a really, really cool building. Not to mention, it's our oldest building on campus. It was built in the 1960s, and it is a replica of a 1924 South Carolina train depot. So it's very reminiscent of what a lot of train depots looked like between the 1880s and the 1920s.
Oh, you can see the dome car.
times.
Probably. I agree. They didn't talk about the boxcar this time.
So a little fun fact about these two train cars sitting right in front of us here. They're actually sister cars of the Josephine, which is the car right behind us. All three of them were donated in the 90s, and while we renovated the Josephine, the other two here were given to tear on the box. So inside there, they have converted it to make it look like a haunted, spooky space. It's very cool to check out if you guys, again, come for Tear on the Fox. We also get a lot of times people asking why we don't renovate these trains. Well, these were two were given to Tear on the Fox. We do have a whole McCormick shed that is full of trains as well. Now, those trains are all put on a wait list, so they will eventually get renovated and restored, but it takes time. For example, the next piece that we will be renovating will be our Union Pacific Dome Diner, and that is set to be on a 2-year track. We have 2 full-time employees that work within in our restoration shop, and a handful of volunteers. So that's why it takes pretty long here. But all of those trains are on a set designation list. If you guys are interested as well, we are always looking for donations that helps us to get their trains going in faster. A couple $1 million, if you guys got a couple million to spare, would be great for the museum. Helps us with their trains. I know you guys got all that money to spare.
That's cheap. I have plenty of money. I think they turned off the engine and turned it back on.
Last night after camp. Somebody's running down there right now.
Yep.
About, you can actually see right there is the gray slanted shed. But I want to point out next to it too the McCormick Pavilion as well. So on this back end of the McCormick Pavilion, there are 3 steam trains that I want to point out. The one on the far left is my favorite. The one on the far left is from the Lake Superior and Ishpeming Railroad. It is the oldest steam engine that we have here at the museum. It was built in the 1920s, and it's really cool because it is a jacked steam train. So you know they jack up cars, well they jacked up this steam train to make it a little bit higher so you can get more power with its wheels. But I also like its fun nickname. So if you shorten it to get the LSNI, the public could give it a lot of fun names. So its nickname from the public was the Lazy, Slow, and Independent, which is why it's my favorite railroad, because that's my type of railroad. But you can see it just on the far left over right there. So if you have time, please feel free to explore the McCormick. We've got half a dozen steam locomotives, some diesel locomotives, some passenger cars, some freight cars, you name it, we've got it in there. So please feel free to check that out. the time named John Burns. And John Burns did something really, really cool. He got some legislature passed, and inside that legislature, he put a tiny note that gave us the title National Railroad Museum. But despite that, we get no state nor federal funding. We are 100% a non-profit museum. So it's thanks to kind patrons, donors, and visitors such as yourselves that we're able to keep our doors open and our lights on. So once again, thank you guys so much for coming on out. We have lots of stuff for you still to do around the museum. You can stay till 5 o'clock, which is when we close. But if you do stay after 5 o'clock, we'll probably put you to work and start cleaning the train. So I don't think you guys really want to do that. But we do have lots of things left for you to explore. So make sure that you grab your dioramas, you grab all of your stuff. If you haven't signed out your child yet, please try to find a sign-out sheet just so we know that they didn't get kidnapped. It's really good for us to know that their parents are here with you guys. All right, as we pull in, please remain in your seats until I'm given the all clear that brakes are set. It may seem like the train has stopped, but in fact it may not, and it's still creeping forward. So please remain in the seats until I come again over the radio. Thank you guys so much.
That engineer must have a hard job. He's gonna stop it. That might be the hardest job yet. He has to stop directly over that step.
This video's 13 minutes long.
Yeah.
I have a separate video because I accidentally stopped recording.
She might. Go ask her. You want to go take a picture of the engine? No. Yes.